Hey guys, welcome, and I congratulate you for making the first purchase and maybe the first investment into learning self-defense. Now, in my opinion, everybody should know self-defense, and I believe Krav Maga is one of the best self-defenses in the world. I have traveled the world, I've traveled the country, I've trained tons of different martial arts, different styles, which I respect most of them, and I like training them, they're fun. But when it comes down to it, I truly believe that Krav Maga is the no bull crap bullshit, I think I'm allowed to say that on the film, way and approach to learn self-defense. That's why we teach it to military. I teach military, law enforcement, I teach a whole bunch of different types of people that need to know how to fight as soon as possible. So it can't take you 5 years to learn this stuff. Now here's the deal. Today I'm teaching you just the fundamentals. What I've noticed is when I travel around the world to teach these different courses, most people don't really know how to throw a proper punch, how to use the right knuckles, how to use the palm, how to use your weight, how to recoil so you can throw extra punches. So today I'm going to be going over all that with you. Now, they say that 95% of fights end up going to the ground. Now, I could believe that's true. If you don't know how to recoil your punch and distribute your weight, most people are top heavy when they throw punches. So for example, if I'm throwing a punch and I'm going past my foot, right below me, my head's going above, I will not have anything to catch me. Therefore, I'm probably going to fall down. So when people throw those big haymaker punches with their weight forward, they end up falling to the ground, even if they hit the person or not hit the person. It's just a very off-balanced way to throw a punch. So here's what we're going to do. Go to the basics first. How to hold your fist. On your hand for a straight punch, not for hammer fisting or hooks or anything else, we have two options for hitting. We have a palm. So when you throw that punch, you're using the palm, so you're hitting as hard as you can forward with the the bony part of your thumb, palm area, not your fingers, the palm area. This is a very good striking surface to hit with. I'll talk about that in a second. The second option, so option number 2, will be hitting with the top 2 knuckles. Here's the deal. When you look at my hand, see there's a bone, 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 then my 2 bones here. So if you hit forward, you may be hitting with this smaller knuckle, maybe the middle knuckle. Most people hit with the bottom 2 knuckles because when they're punching, they punch like this, and you can see how leading are my 2 knuckles going to the target. We have to hit with the top 2. So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn my knuckles slightly that direction. So I'm just pushing down, pushing forward with the top 2, pushing down with the bottom 2. Now these 2 bones are lined up with your arm bones. So now you have a much harder hitting surface. You'll notice how it's nice and flat. When you're hitting, you want to point the top 2 knuckles to the target, to the chin, to the face, to the nose, wherever you want to hit with. You'll have much less likely of a chance of breaking your hands. Now if you notice, these knuckles and these bones are flared off to the side, so they have less stability on the sides. So if you do hit with those knuckles, you may break them. When I trained some law enforcement guys in SWAT, they had a problem where they had a lot of times they were breaking their knuckles, so they were hitting like this, so downward, and you can see how the bottom knuckles are actually hitting, not the top 2 knuckles, and they were breaking them all the time. Once we made that fine tuning of an adjustment, I never had one break their hand since. So it's important to hit with the top 2 knuckles. Now a way you can test this out is put your hand, I'm going to pretend it's a wall. Put your hand on a wall, nice and flat. You'll have this part on everything's going to be touching. You don't want to hit with this part of your hand either, just the top 2. So now when your hand's flat on the wall, press your top 2 knuckles forward and then lightly hit like this on the wall until you just hit with the top 2 knuckles. You're going to feel a little bit of pain, which is fine. Don't hit too hard, you don't want to break your wall either. You just want to feel a little bit of pain on the top 2 only. If you start hitting other knuckles, then you know it's not the correct hitting surface. So the top 2 knuckles is what we're striving for. Otherwise, we're going to be hitting with the palm of your hand. Now let me describe the 2 differences between the palm and the knuckle. The knuckle will cause more damage to the attacker because there's 2 sharp points hitting nice and hard. They're going to be hitting the attacker with it probably in the face, most likely. In the face, we have body shots, back of the head, groin, throat. Top 2 knuckles are going to destroy the target. Now it also causes a little bit more pain to you because it does hurt hitting with these knuckles. Now palmil strike will cause a little bit less pain to the attacker, but it will cause a lot less pain for you. Now here's the test that I do with people all the time. I go to a wall, or actually I have them go down to the knees, so you can try this at home. Go down to your knees right now. While you're on your knees, I want you to start hitting the ground with your palm. And then start hitting a little bit harder, kind of just bomb, bomb, bomb on the ground. I don't want it to hurt too bad, but you'll feel a little pain. That's okay. Now I want you to close your hands, hit with the top 2 knuckles on the ground, and try that. Now, if you're actually doing this, which you should be doing it, you should be trying this so you can understand the differences. You're going to realize you hit a lot softer with your top 2 knuckles than you do with your palm. And the reason why is because you know this is going to hurt more, so you hold back. Now, that reality is the same when you're in a fight. If you know this is going to hurt you more, you may hold back a little bit. So you might as well use that palm heel strike because you'll probably go all out for that punch. Now with adrenaline and rage and all that stuff, it's a little bit different. You may not hold back. I'm just letting you know there is a difference in power psychologically with the two. Now when you hold your fist, this is super crucial. Most people hold their fist like this, so the thumb is exposed. It's a very bad way to hold your fist. You're going to break your thumb. Some people, I know from different martial arts too, put their thumb inside their hand and hold their thumb here. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Your thumb is just going to break. You have no hard knuckle. You're hitting with the top. It just makes no sense. And try it. It hurts like heck. You don't want to do that with your thumb either. What you're going to do is you're going to take this little part of your thumb. You'll feel this little indentation on the last bone, right in the middle. You'll feel an indentation before your knuckle. You're going to put that indentation in your index indentation. So now you have 1, 2, 3 bones in your index finger. So you're going to take that middle index bone with your thumb indentation, and you're going to close your hand, fingers, put your thumb on that indentation, so there should be connecting. Now what you're doing is you're going to be applying pressure with your thumb to go down to your pinky knuckle. So you're going to notice you have a tight fist, then your thumb's going to be pressing this way, which is going to cause everything to compress and make a really tight, basically an edge of a spear. Everything's going to be as tight as possible in your hand. The less movement, the better, because you'll actually break them rather than you being broken. So you have palm, top 2. So try that out, play with it a little bit, feel what the difference is so you kind of feel comfortable with it. Okay, so now that you have what knuckle you want to hit with, we're going to talk about how to send the punch fast enough to actually hit the target. Now think about this. If you telegraph, meaning I pull my hand back, I'm getting ready to throw a strike, they may see it, they may react to it. Whether they react by moving back, which will limit the damage of your punch, whether they react by blocking your punch and hitting you, or I'm not sure what the reaction will be because it's always different for everybody, but you don't want them to react because it's going to change the outcome of your strike. So here's the deal. If you punch, let's say your hands are up, so you have 2 options, hands down, hands up. Let's say your hands are up for now. This is a better place to be. If someone's coming to confront you, having your hands up in front of you is the best thing you can do. Having them down is just as good as having them behind your back. So you might as well have them up. Hey, I don't want to fight, it's cool, just back away, we could talk about this, but your hands are up. Now what's good about this is you can defend punches sooner, so if a punch is coming, you can defend it and hit, but you can also punch really quickly too. So here's the deal. When your hands are up and open, if you're going to hit with your palms, you're sending your hands straight out. That's fine. And you're going to hit. We're going to talk about hip movement in a second. Boom. You're going to throw your punch in there. You're going to hit with your hand. But if you're throwing with your knuckles, you're going to notice I'm going to send my hand first. So you see how my hand is going? My hand's going. My hand is forming in the air, and I'm hitting with the top 2 knuckles. Let me show you a side view. So I'm going to be standing here. I'm going to send my hand and then turn my knuckles forward while I'm striking. Let me try the other side. Send the hand forward, close the knuckles, and strike. So you notice now, with the top 2 knuckles being at the edge of the whip of your punch. Here's the deal. If your hands are closed, if your hands are open, and then you close them, you're already telegraphing, and then you're going in and throwing a punch, you're already a step behind. So you might as well, there's no difference by doing this or doing this. So throw your hand out, close your hand all the way to the target, hit the target. Now with your palm, it's as simple as just throwing that strike. So again, your hands are up, boom, throwing that strike. Now, we talked about the knuckles, how to form your fist, how to hit your palm. We talked about when to close your fist when striking to actually hit the person. Now we're going to talk about power behind your punch. Punches are not this. That is different martial arts, and it drives me crazy because it is not as much power as you should have. This is purely one muscle, your triceps. It's pretty simple. Your triceps contract, sending your arm out. Your biceps contract, sending your arm in. It's a very bad punch unless you have massive triceps. Here's what we're going to be doing. Yes, our hand is going out. Whether your hand's open or closed, your hand is going out, your biceps are engaged, and you're going to be whipping your punch like this. So you're going to have this whipping motion. It's called recoiling. You want to recoil. It stops you from falling. And it allows you to throw multiple punches rather than just boom and your hand's falling down. So snap your hand in with recoil. As you're snapping, I'm going to do a side view so you can see, you're going to be turning your hip. Boom. That hip movement is what's causing the power. You're going to drive. Let's say we're hitting with our right hand right now. We're going to drive with our right foot forward, turning our hip and hitting as hard as we can forward. Notice how my weight is shifting into it. So I've got weight shifting towards that strike. I'll try this side too so you can see. Boom. That weight is going forward. We're turning our hip. So strike and recoil. I'll go forward, strike. Boom. So you see how my body is turning into that punch. That's causing more momentum. You're driving off the foot of the punch you're throwing. So if I'm throwing my right punch, my right foot is the one driving my weight forward. I'm pivoting my foot. Pivoting means you're turning it like this, like you're stepping on a cigarette. I'm pivoting my foot, showing my pocket of my hip to the target. That's telling me that I'm pivoting enough and turning my hips enough. So you're pivoting your foot, you're leaning a little bit forward, just a little bit, and boom, you're throwing that punch in there. Now, if you, from here, throw that punch, pop, and you hit that person, you're going to have so much power behind it, and you're going to be fast enough to actually hit the person. Hopefully that's helpful to you. If you want to even have a stronger punch, I would recommend taking a step back with your right foot, or taking a step forward with your left foot, so you'd actually go towards the fighter. Now this is going to allow you to be in a stronger posture to where you can really push off that right foot to throw a strong right straight, or even a strong left straight, depending on what handed you are. Okay, so a little bit of recap now. First, we talked about having your hands up is a better place to be. If your hands are down, you can still throw the punch, you just got to be quick about it. Second, you want to make sure you're hitting with the right surface of your hand. We have our palm, heel strikes. We have our top two knuckles, where we're hitting forward. Make sure your thumb is nice and tight inside, tucked into your index finger, pushing towards your pinkies so it's tight as possible. Point those top two knuckles forward so when you're punching, your top two are always leading and hitting with that 2 points. Step 3, turning your hips into your punch. So as you're punching, you're turning your hip and bringing your punch back. Turning your hip, bringing your punch back every time. Do this in front of the mirror. Want you to see yourself, bomb, bomb. Try throwing 2 punches, jab, cross. So you're turning left, you're turning right. You're turning left, right. You're bringing your hand back, and when it's halfway there, your other hand meets it halfway and sends it. So you notice how they're turning and they're crossing each other. Very common people do this. This is bad. Keep your hands up the whole time when you're fighting. So hopefully that helps you. If you have any questions, if that doesn't make sense to you, please message me and I can actually message you back via video, or we can talk about it. I want to make sure that you fully understand everything there is about throwing these 2 punches. Obviously there's tons of different kinds of styles of punches. There's boxing, there's Muay Thai, there's karate, kung fu. They all have different styles of punches. This is just an effective punch. It's a little bit different. It's less fancy, but this punch, if you make contact, will cause serious amount of damage if you put your hips into it and your whole body weight behind it. Now, I really recommend practicing this. If you can find it maybe at the gym, or if you have one, a punching bag, hit a punching bag. Try it. Turn your hips, use the top 2 knuckles. Don't use punching gloves. I want you to actually try it with your top 2 knuckles and feel it. Then after you do it a few times, then you can put some gloves on and hit it really hard. Really work on turning your hips. Take a video of it if you want to, and you can send us a video and I'll critique it for you. Just to tell you, hey, yeah, you're on the right track, or maybe you're not. Kind of help you out in that department too. If you want to, you can actually buy one of our gigs, our separate gigs, and request a technique. So if you're nervous about somebody choking you or holding a knife to your throat or something else, if you're nervous about something in life and you kind of have this like, oh, I need to know what to do, get the extra gig, tell us what the problem is. We'll probably contact you and double check to make sure we have the right problem. If you even want to videotape the problem happening to you, we can show you a good way out of it. I can bring in my assistant, we can try it out, we can show you different methods. But you can also, if you want to, ask us before you purchase a gig, tell us what the problem is, and we'll just tell you right away, like, hey, that's a good problem, let's talk about it, or hey, that's never going to happen. You know, flying out of a plane while being choked with a knife in your throat is just kind of, you know, one of those problems we can't really videotape to show you how to do it. So if you have any questions, let us know. We totally want to help you out. Hopefully this has helped you a little bit. If you know anybody that you think needs this type of training, send them this video for free. It's on us. You know, you already bought it. Send it, make it a gift to them. Hopefully this helped you, and I'll see you soon. All right, take care.